Welcome to another Underground World News Live. Here on this July 12th, 2024. And good evening. I hope all is well. Everyone out there listening in, I want to thank everyone that shares the stream. Shout outs to Hoodie Ross, Kev Bar right at the gate. Much love to all the mods. Uncommon down there at the border, getting it in. Pixie, Loudon, Rare Breeds, all my KY cats out there. I hope all is good. Yeah, we're live here on multiple platforms, so take your pick. YouTube, X, I believe Rumble. I tried to go live on Rumble tonight. I'm not sure if we're live over there or not again. I don't have it pulled up. I only got 2 different chats pulled up. It's all I can keep up with. Much love cats on X. Maybe Facebook, wherever else we're live. And let me get a refresh. Everything going good. Dwayne, 5x5. Little buffering. Do here is try to get a little not sure what's going on there. Everything's showing good on my end. Trying to get one more refresh here on the chat. And hope that helps. So we get another mic check. Wait and see here if I can get everything flowing smooth. Hopefully we can. A lot of people saying it's buffering. Going out and coming back work for me. So maybe if people try to refresh, I don't know. I've done everything I can here on my end. Interesting that this is happening. So I'm just trying to wait a second here. YouTube here running fine for you, Scruffy. Okay. Okay. Some say it's buffering bad. Others say it's good. Wait here and see if I can get some solid feedback. Muting every 15 seconds with the... The live is cutting in and out. Not sure what it could be then. Not sure what it could be. All I could try to do is try to stop the stream and fire it back up. If that didn't work, I'll be back on the next one, I guess on Monday. Mama Bear says 5x5 there. Just waiting to see some feedback in the chat here. Waiting to get some more 5x5s, or if we're good, better 5x5. And then buffering. I guess people say 5x5 and the next person says buffering. Yeah. Rumble is not live. It would be doing the same thing. I'm suspecting that if it's doing it on all the platforms, if it's doing it on D Live and all, it's going through Restream. So Egbert reloaded and worked better. Edward says he can hear me. Cash Mom says went out, came back in, much better now. Good here, says Sharon. Okay, better for Dwayne now. All right, it's a better feedback. I guess I'm going to try to run with it. All I could think to do is shut down on my end, if it's anything on my end. I'm looking at showing everything's running good. So, only thing that I can think of is that it's restream. When I'm over here checking my connection on YouTube, all the graphs are up. And I don't know, guys. If you could, just tell people out there to refresh in the chat. A lot of people saying working better for them now. I don't know what else to do. It is buffering sporadically. It was buffering until you reloaded. All right, I'm just sitting here at 5x5. Good. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Should be. But see, if it's doing this on multiple platforms, it's probably through Restream, which is ridiculous. I can't do nothing about that. Everyone says, okay, reload, it's better, seems okay. 5x5, Lord McCormick, all right. Keep moving forward. Hitman, 5x5. Gabriel, 5x5. Bunch of 5x5s coming through. Whole bunch of them. All good. That's on the verge of shutting this thing down. Bunch of 5x5s coming through. Okay. So, hopefully it's better now. I don't know what else to say, guys. I suppose there's always going to be somebody that says something out there that it's not working or not. But, all right, here we go. Going to start this thing off. First off, just want to mention some stuff here on quakes. We had a significant swarm going on off the coast of BC, and I've been talking about this for a minute. And it seems like it hit with some big ones. You're talking like 6.4, 6.6s. They hit up here, that's decent. Get up toward that 7 range. Getting up there near tsunami range where it can set off tsunamis. We've been watching this for a minute because they keep putting out updated warnings saying the Cascadia is going to come unzipped, and all I can say is a heads up for activity up here. You can see a little bit around Seattle. Most of the cities, like I pointed out last time, up here in the upper West Coast, they sit inland. The big cities, Olympia, Portland, Salem, they're not right on the coastline like you see on the East Coast. So, hoping that that'll serve as some kind of buffer if tsunamis do come in. So, if you guys feel any of the quake activity, let me know. That Cascadia is one we're watching, running down from up through there. See what we got here. All right, I'm going to switch it. I'm going to keep it pushing here, keep it moving. I figure on my end, if it's anything going on my end, the more links I exit out, it should just mean better and better. But it's showing everything's running fine on my end. Thank you, Piston. All right, so the hurricanes. They're fired up. One just wrecked Houston. I put some alerts out in regards to that and covered some of the damage going on with that. It doesn't look like it's over. It looks like it's just getting started in all reality, hurricane season. And that was really the first one, the first damaging hurricane to come through. It hit us. But they're pointing out that this La Nina is now going to go into motion full scale. And we point out right here in this image what they're expecting. So you can take a look here and see where you're at. But this is what they're saying is going to happen going into this winter. So colder north of the jet stream, a little bit wetter around it, and then drier in the southern areas. It does say warmer there on the east coast. So depending on where you're at, this drier area could see extended drought, let's just say that, in this region. I also dropped a video on this. AT&T revealing that hackers stole nearly all records of customers' calls and text. And I thought that this was kind of suspicious. That this went down this way. Because this hack didn't target the stuff that hackers normally are going for. Thank you, Button. They basically are saying that they went after the call logs. So I'm like, somebody's trying to blackmail somebody here with this, because they even point this out in the article saying that people better watch out because this is different than stealing your social security number, your date of birth, and all that. They're saying that all that information was not stolen. But the call logs were. And like who you are. And that's just enough right there. If you're going in after that, it's like you're targeting somebody. And trying to find who they're talking to. So, thank you for the feedback there, Tactical. Didn't feel anything, okay. So, I see this happening, and I just feel like we're going to see more from here, and it's going to be like ransom. Like holding maybe some elite people, so to speak. It mentions politicians, journalists. It could be anyone. So I'm just saying, it just seems like, just imagine, they got phone records for anyone. They can see who's speaking. I'm sure they're going to be shocked when they see certain folks are chatting all the time. You come to see that people that you thought were enemies are sitting here talking all the time. That can be pretty bombshell. Super explosive information. It really can. Well, what were you doing late at night talking to P. Diddy? You know what I'm saying? Phone records show that you were at the same place he was eating dinner. It could hem you up in a million ways with this information. So, nearly all records of customer calls and text. Do you know how big this is? This is absolutely massive. Yeah, this is big. In terms of hacks, this is big. I could just feel it. You can feel it if you know anything about how they're operating out there. Just wonder who the names are going to be. Here's another major hack. We've got the government of South Africa hit by a major cyber heist. And, this is all over the place. It's widespread. And this is the entire government. So you just think about that for a second. Imagine if it was the United States government or any other major government. I mean, this is a decent-sized government, especially for Africa. They say that they've had 16.6 million stolen over the past decade, which is equivalent to 300 million rand. And that they don't know exactly if people in the inside are a part of this or what, but they've become what they call a soft target, meaning that the hackers see that they can get money out of them, so they keep on going back after them and keep going back after them again and again. And thank you, Allie, for the coffee. Thank you for the love and the support. Appreciate it to the fullest. Assange level hack, huh? Huh, Gary? It's I don't know. You mean this day and age, holding stuff over people's heads and blackmail and the whole thing with Epstein, and it goes even further than Epstein now, as you can see with P. Diddy and Suge Knight, both filming all types of people and holding on to the tapes. That's blackmail. Not so much a cyber heist, but that's a straight blackmail. But it's the same thing that you're going to get out of the cyber heist with this information is blackmail. Like, again, you were talking to whoever, and just, this isn't good. They've got everybody's information. It's just crazy. So here in South Africa, this is a full-scale government getting held hostage. And it just makes me think of our own here in the United States constantly. Like, what's next? We've been hit here. We've had medical places, communications places, energy sector, the water sector. I mean, you name it. All types of places have been hacked. Walgreens was freaking hacked. All these different businesses hacked, left and right. A lot of them for ransom. So, thank you, Dr. Frankenstein. Just want to point it out, man. We're seeing this. It's pretty widespread. And when you start seeing a whole entire government's being held hostage, it's any day now. It's kind of how I feel. All right. A more breaking story here to kick off with. Alec Baldwin breaking down in tears because they dismiss his case. Some are going to say, oh, yeah, well, Hollywood elite, this is what happens, blah, blah, blah. Others are saying, no, they don't think so. But, yeah, he did catch a break. Some saying they were ready to hang him out to dry for this. Others saying that he was taking the bullet, so to speak, here for someone else in the shadows, someone else that set this whole thing into motion. And it's unfortunate someone lost their life in this. But I tell you what, man, in a rest in peace to Hutchinson that was killed, someone was sacrificed on the set. Lost her life regardless, and there should have never, ever been a live gun on the set. Now, to me, unless that was part of Alec Baldwin's job, was bringing that gun on the set and everything else, I don't think it falls squarely on his shoulders, man. I think I've seen a lot of acting stuff, and, they've got props, and you can go and check out clips of behind the scenes and B-roll footage and all this other stuff, man. There's protocol. You hear all kinds of actors talk about this. I thought back in the day when Bruce Lee's son was killed on the set. That was insane back then. Immediately they were saying, sacrificial, and he was assassinated and all this stuff. And there should have never been real bullets in those guns. Let him up. Same thing here. Same thing here. There should have never been live rounds. And there should be a protocol. There should be, and I don't think it should fall on the actor. The actor shouldn't. It shouldn't be. Maybe though. If it's maybe that you check it, but I don't know. I don't know what they're doing in there. If they're loading them with, the fake rounds that look very real, and you can't tell anyway that are just going to give up a pop, but really not shoot a projectile like blanks. Again, it's as an actor, like I don't know. I feel like safety wise, this is a whole different ring. Anything that's on stage, especially weaponry, should be checked, and nothing should be real. So I don't know. Those are places I would start if I was a judge or if I was a jury or anything like that. Snoopy Doe says, thank you, Daboom. Completely cashed out of crypto. Hey, much love, Snoopy. Yes, and Jesus Yeshua, Lord. Most High there, Sharon. You know it. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get into the financials here in just a second. Mary says, long time no here. Where you been? Well. Good to see you. Just trying to get going, and it seems to try to derail me, but it looks like things are better. I don't know. If you didn't know, yeah, they rocked me about a year ago on my channels, and I ended up switching over to the old Dabu77 channel, and I had to change the name of it because of a bunch of AI algorithm crap and stuff getting flagged, a bunch of madness. And I worked on building that channel up here for the past several months, and slid back over here for the live shows. Decided might as well start airing it out over here on the main channel as we're going into this election cycle. All the stuff that's going to pop off. It's where most people know how to find me. Especially if I was to hit the streets. Doesn't look like I'm going to make the RNC. I'll get into more political stuff here in a bit. Hey, and a much love again, Allie. Gonna push on to the next headline. Flying scares me at this point. You said the election scares you. Everything's so... Well, Boeing. Again. It's every single show. This time, Boeing 777 suffering a serious tail strike during takeoff at Milan. For like 10 seconds, I'm going to play this. 10-second rip right here as it lifts.
Flame.
Oh, man. That's bad. I don't know what's going on there, but this thing had to circle, make an emergency landing. Monday, Flight 1001, a Boeing 757-200 lost a main landing gear wheel when taking off. Here, I've got this whole, I think this whole thing right here touches on that and more. 737 aborts takeoff due to a tire failure. A near miss in Syracuse. And the 757 loses a wheel. All right, so tire fails here. Tampa, I'm going to run this one. I mean, this is just left and right.
Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! Load engine! Oh! Oh! Our blown tire! Roll the trucks, roll the trucks, roll the trucks!
Wow, so it's left and right, man. These flights just taking all kinds of damage. Much love, pure bloods out there across the board. Um, just scary. I pray that this stuff ends and gets better, but is this a near miss? See this. Look at this, a near miss in the sky. Two of them right here. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. They even ran out and looked up in the sky. That was close. That was close, man. Oh, man. Super close. What, 10, 20 feet? Oh, no, it looked like it. They're saying about 700 to 1,000 feet from each other vertically. Look closer than that. Oh, wow. That's, I guess, the luggage thing. And there's live snakes coming out of it. Yeah, so, um, chowder pouch. People not realizing, I've been live this whole time, just on the other channel. I mean, yeah, just on the other channel. But back over here, could definitely feel that I'm back on the main channel. It's got all the, I don't know what you want to call it that comes with it. Suppression. It's just, I don't know what else to call it. So check this one out. I warn you all the time about what's going down with matter of fact, here, let me show some. I want to share something funny here real quick so I can shut down this Instagram link because it is rather funny. This is, take a quick second here, try to get a laugh in. This is what happens when you bring babies, kids to the family barbecue here. And we'll play this. This is a kid putting firecrackers into the grill and burying it in the charcoal and then going and sitting in the pool and waiting. So it gets comical. Everyone starts running into things. It gets pretty funny. So here we go.
Dang, I plan on taking me a couple of plates home. Girl, some of them plates ain't gonna be making any shit. That's my baby. Nah, you are. Yeah, we got another fit. Just how you got to just how you just how you.
So they literally thought some shooting started or something. You know what I mean? What else you gonna think's going on? And it's better to be safe than not. But man, that first guy, he went straight to the metal pole. It was about knocked himself out. That was, and then dove over the fire pit. Yeah, that's some kids for you. That's some kids for you, man. That's I thought it was funny, man. All right, so got that out of the way. Much love, pure bloods again. And all the mods out there. Thank you to everyone out there that has shared the stream tonight as well. When it comes to these drones, I'm a drone owner, Been flying one for years and years. You guys have probably seen a ton of my videos. This day when all this turns for the worst, I had Jay Reacher, buddy of mine, on Twitter, on X, that's been sending me information for years. He sent me this clip the other day, and I'd seen one similar, but it just reiterated. It was all these little itty bitty drones in the forest that lifted up off the ground and were taking off through a thick forest. They were dodging all the trees, and they were just going after, they could just be going after anything. Any heat signature, any target, they could find it, they could hit it, and they could explode. It's very scary. The stuff that's been happening on the front lines in Ukraine, if you guys have seen any of those clips, it's crazy. Everyday drones, not predator drones, fly like planes, but these little DJI type drones are being used on the front lines of the war with explosives strapped to them. And also AI and other things are being incorporated into them to where they can be trained to go out there, and if they pick up a human body anywhere, they target it, and if they get greenlit, it goes in for the kill. They don't even have to control it. They don't even have to try to fly it. You're wondering how they're doing this so good with precision, so far away. They're not just flying it like that good, always off the cam. Sometimes they don't even have cameras or they're blinded. It's AI. That's completely controlling it. So they want to release these on U.S. beaches, starting up in NYC. And they want to use it for the guise of safety and all that good stuff. And that they want to be patrolling the beaches for sharks and for struggling swimmers. Now, if we were in a righteous world, where this whole place is ran by righteous people, I might be like, okay, I can see that working out there in a sense, but we're not. This is like spying all over the beach, not getting away with nothing, and a lot of people are revolting against this big time, saying there's no privacy. What if these things come crashing down on them in the beach? A lot of people upset about it, saying that they don't want it, they just won't go to the beach then. If you're going to have drones flying over the area. Some people are going to come into town, not even know any difference, and they're going to realize what's going on, but it's going to look pretty 1984-ish up there on the New York beaches when they're just being scoured by drones up and down them. I mean, you can't even hear the ocean splashing and the waves coming in because of the buzzing all around you. And I don't know, it just ruins it all. Wow. I guess we're holding down the stream, but it just seems to me that the chat's like quite a few minutes behind me. So I'm just going to keep on pushing as long as everything's good. Much love, Susie Q. Go up to Canada. Believe it or not, Canada has become the car theft capital of the world. And one of the places just said the other day that this is one of the top places people want to go to when moving, when relocating. Out of America, like you want to go up to Justin Trudeau's commie Gestapo up there. I don't know. But yeah, this is the real deal. More cars getting stolen up here in Canada than anywhere in the world. they have tracked 150,000 stolen vehicles. This is like 200 cars stolen every week. That's a lot. It's a huge industry, I guess. Um, the insurers are paying out massive amounts in the theft claims alone, over 1.5 billion. So, yeah. All right, Pepsi being one of the latest companies to come out and say, hey, it looks like the U.S. consumer's hurting pretty bad because they're saying that they're not buying Pepsi, they're not buying snacks like they used to. So, this is wild when you see this stuff. Yeah, we're going through hard times. As I said on the last stream, they want to keep saying that you're in a recession or maybe about to go into a recession. Yeah, we're in a recession for sure, as far as I can tell. On the doorstep of a depression. The way things are going with inflation, job loss, the price of everything going through the roof. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Costco is out here saying that they're raising their membership fees. So anyone out there that shops at Costco, you got to pay to be a member there. 52 million members. They're about to up the ante. So when you've got that many members that have bought in and you expect them to renew, well, when this thing jumps up a good bit, I mean, every dollar for those million members is, that's huge. But yeah, that's going up as well. A lot of people shop at these places, Sam's, Costco, places like that. They become members because they believe that they're saving in terms of the prices and the bulk saving that they get there at the store. Sometimes, yes, that's true, but when they go raising the membership prices through the roof, it starts to catch up. And are you really saving then? Shows me that Costco may not be hitting them where, out there where they're buying the product, but they're going to hit them here with the membership fee. Yeah, so heads up there. If you're Costco, expect that. Now, let me get into some banking stuff and shift the gears here. I've warned many times about the U.S. banking situation and where this whole thing's going. The FDIC came out and warned. Told you dozens of banks, over 60, were insolvent. They did not want to tell you which ones they were. They didn't want to name names because they didn't want to spark a bank run. Well, China, key player on the world stage, like huge economy in its own right, key player here on the world stage in the world economy. 40 banks inside of China fold. Jiangxi leads the collapse. And this is all within a week's time. 40 banks go down, and there's video of all these people standing outside, flipping out. Well, how come they can't get their money? Where's their money? What do they do? Looking at the government, whoever else, like, what do we do? And they're like, well, they're insolvent. They're done. Like, you ain't getting no money. And people are sitting there scratching their head like, how can this be? How can this be? Well, it's like, you better pay attention to this small situation. Because if these people are getting left high and dry, so are a whole bunch of other people here in just a minute. Okay? Why did the FDIC come out and warn us that all these banks were insolvent? Because people are about to lose everything they got. because the FDIC is the company or the government agency that insures your money at a bank like this. Like so much, like up to 50 million, 500 million. They've got different stipulations. But if you're one of the smaller banks, you very well may not be covered at all by the FDIC. Do you see? Similar to this situation where the government, no one else is going to come in and bail you out. You're not going to get no money in return. You're just not. So it's not always about just the United States and the US dollar. As I've been telling you, and we've been seeing China with BRICS and with Russia and all this other stuff out there, they've been making moves. They've also been backing their own currency in their own trades with gold. Their own contracts with gold, okay? And buying more gold than anybody on the planet. The Chinese have. The Federal Reserve banks are buying it up in mass from every country. But the country doing it the most is China. And it's no secret at this point. So they're snatching up all the gold they can get their hands on. And they've got banks collapsing now. Will this affect the United States? It very well could. The Japanese currency just started to buckle and give way and collapse. We're starting to see all these different governments and their currencies collapsing. And I'm telling you, this is a world stage. I tell you all the time. I wouldn't doubt it if all these currencies come buckling down at the same time. And usher in a grand scheme. They're ready for it. I've already told you over and over. The CBDCs in all these countries in beta test mode. The wallets are made. They're sitting in the banks. They're ready for the transition. The only problem has been is in certain countries, people have rejected it. Like the Inara out of Nigeria. They full-scale rejected it. The people here in the United States are hip to what's going on with it. So much so that, Trump is basically running on the ticket of being pro-Bitcoin but anti-CBDC. Against the CBDC, saying if I get in there, CBDC. Well, if a crisis was to happen before he gets in there, or even then, this would be the emergency measure to save people. They would say, hey, you got $10,000 in your account that you need to pay bills, do all this other stuff, and you can't access it, or you lost it. We're going to replace it with these CBDCs. And until we get this whole thing straightened out, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use this backup system. Let's be thankful we got it, is what they're going to say. And the trap will be set. If they do this around the globe, maybe even under the guise of war, they can effectively collapse down the economies of each nation by design, and they can install, just how I just explained to you, their CBDCs. Because the people that are standing in the streets in China, I can almost guarantee you right now, if they hit them like, yo, here's a CBDC, they would take it. They would not think twice. Most people cannot differentiate the difference here. They think it's all just digital and it's the same thing, when it's not. They're not understanding the concept of a ledger in blockchain. They just keep ignoring it or don't take the time to figure it out, understand what it is. And it's not that hard. It's not that hard. You can understand it within 10 minutes if you really wanted to. So I just wanted to point this out because if China comes crashing down and everyone's just like, China's come crashing down. No. That affects everything. We're all tied in together here on the world stage, the global economy. IMF has a basket of currencies that all these countries are in. So it's all affected. And if prices go sky high in China, then they go sky high for everybody else, man. And then look at the shipping lanes and everything else. I haven't even gotten to the war stuff. This is financial. But when war pops off big time with Taiwan and all this, getting items out of Asia, dude, forget about it. We can't even get anything through the Red Sea right now. Everything's getting sunk. Hey, thank you for the love, Deanne. Thank you for the coffee and the support. That is the best way to support the show. Right there, buy me a coffee. It's appreciated to the fullest. Or PayPal. Margie, thank you. To the fullest there. I'm going to go ahead and load up. Oh, no, I'm not. I was going to say I'm going to load up a chest for D-Live, but I X'd it out. So I do not have D-Live up at the moment. Over here, just on the YouTube chat. So I'm going to keep it pushing. Everyone thinks that China is going to take over the world. Well, as a superpower, they could very well step up and fill the slot depending on the outcome of a few different things. I think they have been groomed to do just that. Xi Jinping, we know, has been groomed by the West. Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger basically brought him up. It's crazy to think, right? The communist China, their leader right now for life, Xi Jinping, their emperor for life, was trained by Henry Kissinger. Brought up on Western education. Same thing with Kim Jong-un out of North Korea. Same thing. It's all a puppet show, man. Rothschilds have had control of these places for a long time. And they still have control over China. They've had control over China since the days of Mao. And then they went in, they took the guns from the Chinese people, and they killed tens of millions of people. Their own kind. Their own people. And this is the same communist Chinese. Ain't no one defeated them or anything since then. I mean, come on. If they have no problem with lining their own people up in front of ditches and dropping their bodies in them, execution style, like, they ain't gonna have no problem doing it to you. And that's who they're filling this place up with. They sure are. And you know it. At any time, they're gonna strike. I hope you got your ammo up. All right, and keep it pushing. They're saying that the gold-silver ratio right now can indicate the early stages of a silver breakout. Well, it's going to happen. Silver's going to explode. Gold bouncing around still right now at highs. At highs. Dancing around and could charge further. The current gold-to-silver ratio is right around 76-1. That means it takes 76 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. That gap should definitely get closed at some point, which means there's going to be an explosion. Right now, that ratio remains historically high, meaning that silver is underpriced compared to gold. You know, some would speculate they're waiting for gold to come back down. Oh, dude, I don't think there is any coming back down. At some point, silver's got to catch up. This is just like Bitcoin and Ethereum in the crypto world. But this only happens when gold or Bitcoin, so to speak, stabilize. They've got to hit high and then come back down a little bit and like get a footing. You got to catch support and get a footing. And find a new support. Okay? Well, in the modern era, the gold-silver ratio has averaged between 40-1 and 60-1. Yeah. And it says when the gold silver ratio gets far above the high end of that average, it tends to return to the mean with a vengeance. So, for instance, they say in 2020 the gold silver ratio set a record of 123 to 1 as all the lockdown hysteria gripped the world. Yep. And then it plunged to around 60 to 1 as central banks around the world cranked up the money creation machines to cope with that. So there was a huge shift there. And it has to catch up. And they're basically telling you right now, hey. And as I said before, a lot of the states did away with the taxes on gold and silver because they see it as being real money. Now, why would they all of a sudden be doing that? Because somebody knows something. Because somebody knows that this whole thing's about to go down the tubes, and they want to make sure that their state has sound money on the record books. To be accepted in the stores, to be accepted everywhere. And all these states have done it. Have you guys been paying attention? They haven't done it for nothing. My state has done it. It goes into effect in August. All the taxes off of any of the gains or anything to do with it, bye-bye. Because they're seeing it as the legal tender. Why would they be doing that? One can say because it is, and it's because the gig is up. The monopoly money game is just about over, and all these states are like quietly, without trying to create panic. They're preparing. They are preparing. And I'm out here trying. I've been telling you, man. You know, so is platinum going to explode? Could. Right now, a good time to get bullish on platinum? Very well could be. Platinum used to be more expensive than gold. So, platinum could do the same thing. Gold, silver, platinum, all these precious metals I'd have in your arsenal. Definitely have in the arsenal. Energy cost across the country. Just going to pull this up on the screen here real quick so everyone can check it out and see. Take a look at your state. See where it sits on there. Can you believe when it comes to the bills in this country, the people in Wyoming are paying $1,500? Like compared to my state, it's $550. Texas is $430. Pennsylvania is $669. Ohio $630. You can see up here in this region, they're paying way more. 700s all the way up to 15. So, seven out of 10 people saying that they expect to live in an urban area by 2050. That's pretty crazy. That's a lot. That's moving a lot of people into those areas. And, well, we all know they want to try to funnel everybody toward the big city. I would say get out and try to build something right now. Best you can. Lumber prices plunging. So I've been watching this. You guys know I keep an eye on all this stuff. Gold, lumber, all these things because they make a difference. Back when the housing market and all the prices exploded initially, the reason was because the price of lumber exploded. Pretty much no reason. The whole game is rigged. And somebody pulled strings, and the next thing you know, it exploded. I mean, you have that. It's now pulled back massively in like the $400 and some range when it was like up $1,000 higher than that. Right now, this should equate to cheaper prices at the store in terms of lumber, and you should be able to build. So if you're looking to build something, houses, buildings of any sort right now, I'd say right now's the time to look into it. I mentioned before, ground beef was up, and everything going on with this bird stuff. When this goes into full-blown motion, it's already affecting the prices of eggs, of chicken itself, of the beef. The beef, as you can see right here, U.S. ground beef retail prices jumped the most since COVID and the meatpacking crisis that was sparked then. They're at it high. You can just look at this chart right here to see where we're sitting. Both of these charts. Under Biden, it has gone straight up and continues to climb. So when people out there are like, what is going on? When, they're just buying the same amount, if not even less, beef than they were before for dinner. This is what's going on. They're flipping out. They're like, hold on. We can't afford this hardly anymore. And especially if you're going for the all grass-fed, organic stuff. Not the Bill Gates type stuff. Yeah. Let's look at some of the prices in fast food if you're still out there eating this stuff. Just in the past decade, almost all these places have gone up anywhere from 50% all the way up to 100%. And McDonald's leading the way. The wise, much love. And Popeyes, Taco Bell, Chipotle, what's that? Jimmy John's, which I cannot stand. All them up there. You got Wendy's, Arby's, and you see them all there. But McDonald's raising them prices on people more than anyone. Having more locations out there probably than any of them too around the world. There's like McDonald's in Japan, in the Congo, and all these other places you find McDonald's. But yeah, man. And all their food and their meat, highly suspect. Let's look at the biggest declines when it comes to people fleeing out of different states here in the United States. New York, here recently, for the year of 2023, lost over 100,000 people. It was followed by California, then Illinois, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, Oregon, Hawaii, and West Virginia. People fleeing out of those areas. If you guys missed it, the governor of Colorado has declared a disaster emergency over the bird flu. So it has quietly, officially began with a disaster declaration made, saying that they have killed or reported to the farmers they've got to cull 1.8 million chickens, which is a lot. And Sissy, thank you for the coffees. Much love to the fullest. So this is the same thing I reported on coming out of other countries. Now we having it happen right here. Colorado, where it begins. Remember, because I've got another one on this. And it seems like Colorado seems to be the place they're wanting to launch this stuff from. So a disaster emergency over the bird flu. In Colorado, it's already begun. You don't hear fear being spread all over the place, but you just wait till things shift, I guess. They never let a crisis go to waste, and you know this. T. Prada in the house. Much love. Just saying. All right, let's jump into the war front here globally. Did you know, and I want everyone that likes to keep up with the war front to pay attention to this one, because this is huge. All these years, we have been getting away with bombing the crap out of places like Afghanistan and others, the Houthis and whoever else, wherever else, with satellite-guided missiles and able to kill anyone anywhere. You could track somebody's cell phone, use one of these satellite-guided missiles, and they could kill someone right now. But guess who this does not work against? Guess what? This high-grade technology that would kill almost all of us at any given moment, guess who it doesn't work against? Russia and China, because they have the technology to counter it. They've got jamming technology that messes with the code inside of these missiles when they're coming down, and it basically makes them fall out of the sky like duds. And they admit right here that Russia is they are at the highest level when it comes to this globally, even higher than the United States. They have been in this EMP signal jamming electronic warfare mode for a long time, and their capabilities are extreme. They're at the top, cream of the crop. So when we try to send anything in there like that, that's being guided by satellite, they can jam it. They can mess up its code, and they can make them fall right out of the sky. Dude, that's pretty huge. That's pretty huge in terms of a defensive system. Let's not forget that we struck this very critical over-the-horizon radar system inside of Russia here not long ago. It was a strategic strike. Many said that, Russia could do something tactical here anytime because we did that. Colonel Douglas McGregor, which I follow, famous former colonel that speaks out on all this crap, he was saying, when you do that, when you hit a spot like that in Russia, you better watch out because they've got a small window of time to react, to do something, to recover, and it's not good. It's not good, man. Bob Smith. Hey, much love. Thank you for the coffee and the support. Appreciate it to the fullest. So I just want you to know our high-tech weaponry is nothing over there. Okay? That's pretty big when you can make a statement that your highest technologies over there that you're seeing this whole time that we've been using all over the place are useless on them. So the UN just came out and said that they have drone evidence of a Ukrainian attack on the nuclear plant, the Zaporizhia, the MPP. We've talked about this place many times. This is a key plant. It could become the next Chernobyl if they strike it. Well, it's been struck. And luckily, there wasn't meltdowns. I mean, there's been power outages. There's been shellings. All this stuff. And luckily, a disaster did not happen. Almost like God or angels was watching over this. Because they attacked it. Ukraine did, the West. And this could have made a disaster in this region. A complete and total disaster. It could still happen. They're getting reckless. And little old dictator Zelensky, he's mad because the U.S. won't lift restrictions on strikes deeper into Russia, which he can bite it because, dude, we've been sending so much money there, laundering it, this black hole over there, sending them so much weaponry. We've also supported striking, like I just told you, deep into Russia, hitting the over-horizon radar. Yeah, we better pull back the reins. If we don't, we're going to get struck right here. How could we not? How are we off the table? How is any U.S. city off the table at this point? That's what I was saying when Russia was drifting off in their nuclear sub off the East Coast and we were following them and all that. Why don't they just let one rip right there? And even if they did, if they let one out of the chamber into the water, if the United States tried, what can you do to stop it underwater? You could do nothing. If it detonates underwater, even if you hit it with another missile, it's going to detonate. It's going to cause a tsunami that wipes out the East Coast. And that may have been planned the whole time. But I'm telling you, it's an option. All this is on the table. We are in a live war. Ukraine is just a proxy. And we are striking deep into the heart of the mainland of Russia. And they're talking about doing it more. Dude, this is like poking the bear. Dude, like, you know what comes next. So, Zelensky also admits they can never get enough weapons from the West. Just keep on sending them. Keep on sending your men, women, and children. We'll just sacrifice them out in the front lines. All your weapons will go kill all the Russians on the front lines. And it's just slaughter, man. I'm so sick of seeing it. Sick of seeing the war. But it doesn't matter what I think, does it? They're going to keep on marching, doing what they do. Look at this. You talk about really being on the cusp of World War. Germany in the crosshairs as the U.S. plans to deploy long-range missiles. And Russia flat out says it. You put them missiles there, Germany can get hit. Dude, this is all unraveling for World War. You strike Germany one time, you strike one NATO ally, World War has begun. That is all they've been waiting for. It's all they've been waiting for. Even threatening as much as to try to make Ukraine a NATO ally itself. That way they could just go ahead and get it over with. Everybody jump in it. Everybody just jump in. The sides of World War III are shaping up, and if you're not familiar with them, well, let me just show you some of the frontline action. Poland, which is always right there involved in every major war. They're preparing for full-scale military conflict. That is what is happening right now, for full scale. Just like it's going on in Ukraine. Buildings demolished, citizens getting wiped out. All this, anything goes. I'm telling you, people are just sitting here sleeping because they've been, what's the word for it? Like, it evades me. They're like docile to all this stuff. It just, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it. Desensitized. There we go. Exactly what it is. Everyone's been desensitized to this whole thing between Ukraine and Gaza and all this other crap. Some people just turn cheek and look the other way. American sons and daughters are not so far being sent to the front lines there. So, yet. But you're going to have your own stuff to worry about here. Look at this. All the NATO countries closest to Russia ramp up their defensive spending. Sure signs about to go down. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, all of them ramping up all their spending because it's about that time. Here's one. And you had to expect this at some point. I mean, they've already said that they are military buddies and would defend each other to the end. But now that we've got theaters that are live, bombs dropping, people dying, China unveils military drills with Russia, accusing the U.S. of trying to control the Asia Pacific. So here we go, man. Joint naval drills out in the ocean in what they see as their sea, the South China Sea. They act like they occupy every square inch, all the way down to like right off the coastline of the Philippines and everything else. China, they're bullies of the whole region. The United States don't do that with every little island, around our territory, or we would control Cuba. Or you could pretty much compare that Cuba right in our belly is exactly what Taiwan is to China. They're both like your Achilles heel, so to speak. Makes me think of Tooch, man. Much love, Tooch, out there. Send prayers, my brother, and hope all is well. Getting better. So yeah, open drills now. China, Russia, openly, actively drilling out there. And at what I just mentioned, Taiwan, what does China do? China sends a record number of warplanes at Taiwan in the midst of all this. So here we go. It just keeps happening, and they just keep ramping it up. One of these times, I'm telling you, one of these times, can you imagine? Dozens and dozens of military aircraft, warships, vessels are all charging at you. And you can't even so much as flinch. China did this last time, charged them, and then pulled back at the last second. Taiwan had to scramble certain things into position. But boy, if they would have started fire, if any wrong move would have been made, it would have went off. What happens? China's doing it again. They're acting like they're charging them with all these aircraft, running these drills. What happens when they don't pull back? What happens when the drill goes live and they swoop in? And that is the day that China goes in full scale, takes back Taiwan, takes over Taiwan. Dude, I think that they would launch it rather quick, and I think that it would come in a move just like that. Just like that. All too often we've seen this go down, where drills are in motion and they go live. And this is the perfect scenario for them to do so. Because if they keep doing it, you're going to have them yawning, looking the other way for a second. The moment you got them doing that, that's when they strike. That's when the real deal hits. The subs come up out, whatever. Dudes come up off on the beaches. Red Dawn commences. Who knows how many sleeper cells the Chinese actually got in there on the ground anyway. I mean, look how many they've got here. Get out of here, man. This whole thing's a setup. And the Chinese, speaking of the devils, they've been practicing striking U.S. jets and warships in the desert. So they've been mocking up full-blown warships, all this stuff, acting like they're bombing us. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it to the fullest. Thank you for the coffee. And much love, Uncommon. Look, man, when they start doing this, it's a sure sign they're practicing bombing runs. So they're practicing with their Air Force, hitting our warships and hitting the airplanes on deck. Also, they're practicing bombing airfields and airstrips. They've got mock-ups of F-35s and F-22s. And you can see where they've been hitting the tarmac, hitting the runway, like practicing. So they are full scale ramping up to target us in a full-blown war, not some little whatever. Okay, so another player in this, India. Huge. They're obviously involved in BRICS. They're obviously buddied up with Russia and China. Well, because that's what BRICS is. Well, here, Modi goes to Moscow, meets Putin. They hug. They have this big old meeting, and it signals that Russia is key in all this because they have a really strong alliance with India, militarily, economically, and the same thing with China. China and India, not the best of friends. I've reported on skirmishes on the border before between the two, but I will say this: India's huge, man. When it comes down to World War III, what side did they go on? It looks like they're going the Russia-China side. So even if they're not best friends with China, man, when you put China, Russia, and India together on one team for World War, I don't know how you're going to compete against it, to be honest with you. It's more men militarily than you could ever compete against. If you were smart, you would tactically try to get these guys to fight one another and wipe each other out. You see? But all of them got such large armies or arsenals. I mean, Russia, what they don't have in manpower, they make up for in nukes and technology and everything else that I've told you. And we know it. When it comes to space and all that, they've got advances over all these other countries. Not to mention like the UAP, UFO stuff and all that's tied in. The advanced stuff. Highly advanced stuff. When it comes to Modi, you've got India with the largest population on the planet now. They are now the biggest population on the planet. And they've got a younger population, which that's what you use for war. China's is aging and going in reverse. And startling numbers of China. China, in the next 50 years, is expected to chop their complete population in half. That's what they've done to their people with the one-child policy and all this other stuff. But again, it's communist China. You see what they'll do to their own people. When the birth rate goes into reverse, it's a bad sign. And I told you here recently, the United States went into reverse. And you have got to fix that. You have to trend the other way. Because any country, any nation that's going in reverse with that ratio of children being born, you will cease to exist. At some point, you will cease to exist. You have got to correct it. So China is going into a huge acceleration from here on out of losing their people. So... yeah, man. And Joyce, much love. Thank you. Thank you for that to the fullest. Jump into the politics, right? Some of you have been waiting for. You just love this politics, right? Well, let's go. Let's do it. Let's jump into the Joe Biden shenanigans. Okay? Do the Democrats have an October surprise waiting for all of us that could win the election for them? I'm going to say no, but, this whole thing is just shenanigans. So it's like, even if you are picking something, it's a long shot, because if everything's controlled, what does it matter anyway? Even if you thought that one person could win, even if they did, and they give you something else, then what does it matter? What does any of it matter? I guess trying to make a call on what's really going to happen and unfold is what counts, if you can correctly call that. So many different cards on the table with this one. But you might recall the 1980 surprise, the election surprise. This is when Reagan was running against Carter. The Reagan team, and listen up, because this is critical. You want to talk about scandal and what someone will do. The Reagan team was accused of making a deal with the government of Iran at the time because they had American hostages. And the deal was that Iran held on to the American hostages until after the election. Because if Jimmy Carter could secure their release before Election Day, everyone could think, wow, he's actually a good leader. He saved the day. And it would sweep him back into office with a tide full of enthusiasm and all that. So the hostages were released just after Reagan was inaugurated. As soon as he got in, they were released. See how that stuff works? So now that people have information, they can look back. They know that there was scandal and stuff that was involved there. And can you believe that? That the Reagan administration was tied in doing those types of deals with Iran behind the curtain. And I tell you, it's because the world is a stage. Okay? So, with all that in mind, now 2024, there's strong possibilities of another surprise. What they're saying. And this is what they're saying in this article, okay? They're saying that the Biden administration could try to play peacemaker. That they tell Zelensky to agree to peace with Putin. And also do the same thing in Israel. This false peace. Because it would get them the ticket. And here's the thing. Pay attention to this, because it doesn't have to involve Biden. If the Dems can make this part of their main theme, the big theme, right here, they could even do this right. They could replace Biden right now, as we all know. Whoever, your Newsom, Whitmer, Kamala, whoever. Okay? Whoever they switch this up to when they oust him, they can immediately play this card. And if they did, it would try to save that thing. It would try to be exactly the exact same thing I was explaining to you. You're going to pull a ruse. False peace is what it would be, and they're calling it for just that. So that's just an option that's on the table on something that they could do to try to win votes. Because first off, as they say, the election's got to be at least somewhat close for them to even be able to do it. I don't even believe that, but I believe none of it. I believe that the people should show up in person for who they vote for on election day at their capitals, and they should do an open visual head count. And you should be able to see and take a tally, and it shouldn't be hidden nothing. And everyone should be accountable for everything right there. And they take an open tallied head count for everybody. We're red for this, we're blue for that. Pretty simple. They take the count, they put it in the books, and there you have it. Kind of hard to rig that. Kind of hard to rig that. Oh, some of the simple things that I would put in place if I was in power. But I'm the type that they would assassinate anyhow. But that's what happens, good men, when they jump up in there and try to change things, as you've seen. Even when their own kind trying to change course of everything. Good, and I don't want war with Russia. Neither. I don't think anybody wants war with Russia. I don't have peace with Russia. Be able to go visit Russia. They are the red, white, and blue. They are a majority Christian nation, just like us. It's crazy. It's crazy. But they've separated us. They've made sure that we are in different corners when it comes to these fights. It's kind of the same thing. Like if the U.S. and Russia were on the same team, they'd be the juggernaut. No one could beat them. Hey, much love. And God bless right back at you. Thank you for that coffee. I appreciate that to the fullest. Well, check this out. The Biden administration dropping threats now. This is pretty crazy. To beat the crap out of staffers who don't be quiet. This is straight off of CNN. They actually said, S-H-I-T, straight out. I'll try to keep this clean, but they apparently, it wasn't a cuss word. It's not considered a cuss word, I guess. Wasn't on CNN Live. This lady said it straight up, that the staffers are threatening to beat the out of people. Anyone that says anything about Biden's health. Anyone that goes against the contrary. Anyone that goes against the narrative. Anyone that doesn't want to toe the line, as you say it. Threatening to beat the out of them. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that is getting pretty desperate and crazy. And for those that don't believe it, I'm just going to play the beginning bit here in peace. As you can see.
I'll break that CNN reporting that there are a lot of Democrats furious with Biden advisors, furious with them. Tell us more.
Yeah, you know, one thing that we have heard so consistently since that CNN debate some 2 weeks ago was how shocked Democrats across the board were by the president's performance and seeing him be so halting and dazed at moments on that debate stage. You know, we talked to a lot of folks who said, of course we know that he has aged. Of course we had seen some signs, especially over the last year, of his decline in terms of his physical stamina, his mental clarity. But that version of the president that we saw on the debate stage, they said, was basically unrecognizable. And what my colleagues and I have really reported on is there is a lot of anger and the blame that is being placed on the inner circle of advisors and family members around the president. And what these people say is this really painstakingly choreographed and stage managed daily operations at the White House around the president that is set up specifically designed to prevent the public from often seeing the president in these extended, unscripted settings. And one thing that many of the folks that we spoke with that they are so furious about is this idea that when people have gone to these inner circle of advisors around the president to express some of these concerns, that they were not taken seriously or really brushed aside. This is what one top Democrat told me. They said everyone who expresses any level of suspicion or contrary views, they call everyone and they beat the shit out of them and say, stay on message. Now, it is not just the inner circle of advisors that is getting a lot of...
You hear that? I mean, they straight up said it. Like, this is falling apart quick. And most voters want Biden to step down. And you can see it right here. Everyone is watching this. It's like a day-to-day getting worse. Most voters, 64%, believe it's time for a new Democratic candidate. So, yeah. Only 36% of voters believe Biden should continue to run. The older a respondent was, the more likely they were to believe that Biden should remain in the race. So if there was some older person closer to his age, they have sympathy for him. Lowrider in the house. Thank you for the coffees and the support, my brother. Thank you so much. Much love, my brother. I hope all is good. You can see what I'm reporting in on here. The crap show. So, and when it comes to the market odds of who's going to get the nomination between Kamala or Biden, Kamala, it's like clipping him. She's literally clipping him. And that, I told you, she may not be the presidential pick, and she may be. But she at least retain her vice president. There's like $90-some million they can't spend or touch unless she's on the ticket. So they would be foolish, they say, to not have her involved. I explained this on the last stream. It's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. You know, we talk about Big Mike and the bullpen stretching. Any of these other gruesome, any of these others that could step up. But some of these characters, man, they're just being mentioned and really... The DNC's in August, man. It's going to be interesting. Look at this. The Biden camp thinks that Obama is working behind the scenes, orchestrating the calls for him to drop out. So now it's a total, like, turn the tables moment, like, where too many people have come out and said this now. Barack Obama has said to too many people behind closed doors that are willing to open their mouth that it's time for Biden to step aside. That's what his opinion is thoroughly. And now, since we all know all these people have come forward, you can see it says the Biden camp thinks it. Well, duh. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. All these people that know him coming forth saying this, it's like, here, let me just play this clip so you can see.
Let's say one thing that we do have to underline here, just so viewers can follow what's going on behind the scenes, is the Biden campaign and many Democratic officials do believe that Barack Obama is quietly working behind the scenes to orchestrate this. Let's say one thing that...
Yeah. Huh. I mean, is this dude the puppet master? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we cracked jokes about it before, like, Biden's got an earpiece in and it's been Obama in the basement the whole time, like, but like, man, oh man, you know, Michelle, they slide Michelle in there, Obama gets back in the White House, like, man, you talk about some mafia type stuff, like in the open. You talk about Clinton cartel crap all the time. Well, this is their man anyway. So the Democrats openly plotting to oust Biden from the race. And we know it. All these people. And like, look, he came out and had this like, I don't know what you want to call it. He goes live on this network. And, he just falls apart. This was like last night. I'm going to play some clips. But Joe Manchin says by this Sunday, all the Democrats are coming together and they're going to have their decisions on this thing about replacing him. So, this is how bad this man is. If you guys are missing this action, these clips are best to watch because they just get right to the point.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Number one.
So let's start there. That is crazy. Okay? Now, I think it's the same thing. I'm gonna play this clip. Man, when he's making these flubs, watch their faces. You can just see that they're like, oh my gosh. Like this is her man. Like the look on their faces is crazy.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Number one. The fact is that the consideration is.
They're just like, oh. Yeah. Well, Kamala rising. The Biden campaign tests Harris's viability. And it appears everyone is trying to convince Biden to step aside. This whole thing is about. Cackling Kamala. They're going to try to insert in one of the two positions, like I said, because all that money's there, and it's pretty obvious at this point. Who the other person's going to be, I don't know. It doesn't matter at this point. And I can't see them. I can't see them trying to put someone else in there above her, like, and just keep her in vice. I don't know, like Gruesome or anyone else. I feel like they will elevate her to this spot and then choose someone else's vice. Maybe one of them is vice. And she's the new pick. But it doesn't matter who it is. Especially her. When people poll, she doesn't stand a chance against Donald Trump. Just doesn't. Much love, Sand Dollar. Low Rider. Again. All right, so this one goes on about why Gavin Newsom must never become president. Yeah, well, I think covered all this stuff about how heinous he is, and everything that he's doing in California speaks for itself. I mean, we all know he's an option, right? He's an option. He's on the list. We've said it before. Let's turn to Trump. Let's go over here and look at him and his options and vice in all this. Because I believe, I've said this before as well, I believe that if they give you Donald Trump, they're going to bring this whole thing down on him. Yeah, it reminds me. Well, it says it right here, I do believe. He doesn't want to be called or be what is called the next Herbert Hoover. And for those who don't know what that means, Herbert Hoover basically inherited an exploding economy in the Depression. And there were Hoovervilles and all the stuff that they talked about. And Trump knows this. He specifically says it. He's like, I do not want to be the next Hoover and inherit all this. A scapegoat for all the economic and social calamities. He's already said this out loud. And I'm here to tell you, I think this is what's about to happen. I think you're going to get Donald Trump. And I think it's all going to come down on him. I think that's what's about to happen. He cannot fix the amount of damage that's been done. He can't do it. There's not enough time. 4 years isn't enough time anyway, long term, to get everything back on track. He could start to, but more than likely, this whole ticking time bomb, the last card before the whole house comes down, it's waiting on him. The Trump card. Big time. I mean, it's been being played this whole time through him. I mean, just literally. But boy, this is the culmination of all of it. They bring it down on his watch. I've told you, I've said it before, these exact words. That if they give you Donald Trump, even if he's sitting in a cell somewhere or if it's given to you, expect that something goes down on his watch. I mean, the whole lockdowns, everything else began on his watch as well. That's my call. That's my prediction. Thus far. That's where I'm leaning. I mean, they could always go extreme. Because you know how these people are, and they could just give you the Democratic whoever again, just to piss you off. I mean, they did it the first time, nobody did nothing. They surrounded the White House with barbed wire, freaking fencing, everything. They were that geeked. Showed us all they were that geeked. Nobody did nothing. Why would anybody do anything again? The way I see it, everybody just back off. Just have to ride this out another 4 years. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And as long as Americans keep that mentality, we're done. And over the period of time, over those, just in 4 years, look how much damage has been done. How much has been wiped out, taken, robbed. They could walk us right. We could be in a depression right now, the beginning stages. And because the TV's never saying a single word about it, everyone just keeps on pushing, going along like, oh no, everything's normal. No, it's not. It's not. This whole thing's coming down at some point. And I believe it's on Trump's watch. And they're going to blame not only Trump, they say, but they're going to come after all the Trump supporters, all the people that backed him. I mean, you already see that they're all everyone's targeted already. You already see this. They're going to blame them for everything. I mean, you talk, and that right there could be enough, I don't know, to really set things. To me, this comes down to the people that are going to make a stand for the people and those that are not. Joe says this is Obama's third term. Yeah, through an earpiece. Let's look at the vice president's, the options for Trump. Talked about Tim Scott. Talked about a bunch of people, man. A bunch of people. Some that didn't even make the most recent list, like Ramaswamy, like it's blowing some people away. Kerry Lake. These people that were first mentioned that are like not even nowhere to be seen or even being mentioned. Marco Rubio is, and him and Trump are showing up out on the campaign trail, which means that Marco Rubio is going to be a major player in Donald Trump's administration. To some degree. I don't know what he'll be. I don't know if he'll be the vice. He very well could be the vice. Makes me sick because it's a pure establishment pick. And, even Trump said it right when they were there. There's a lot of press here today. I think they probably think that I'm going to announce that Marco is going to be the vice president. It's a possibility. Obviously. But this can't go on forever. We've got this week, what is it? Monday. The RNC begins. And at the RNC, they will nominate officially Donald Trump as their pick, and he will have to say who his vice is. It'll come out next week. So it's on. They can't delay this crap. It can't be secrets much longer. And then as soon as this happens, time's flying. June, July, we're halfway through July already, man. Like, before you know it, we're into August, and it is DNC, and they have got to have their pick for the other side. So they only got another month or so. Yeah, man. So we'll see. We'll see who the pick's going to be. Is it going to be Vice President Tulsi Gabbard? The Tulsi that they brought out in all white every single time, like the lamb, every time. I'm not stupid, man. I see what they're doing. She's like brainwashed. When she looks into the camera, you can see, like, even in this image right here, in her eyes, like, she is, like, hypnotized. It's scary. And then we busted that she was on the World Economic Forum. She was on their damn site. She was listed as being connected. And we busted it. And it got called out. And because it blew her cover, they made them take it down. All this other stuff. And she got, tried to deflect from it. But no. You're one of them. And let me turn back time to last election, when she talked all this crap about Joe Biden, how criminal they were. He needed this and that and that. And then guess what? Tulsi Gabbard ended up doing? Toeing the line. It was insane, man. Like, I don't know, man. I've just never got the good vibes off of her. I think when it comes to Trump's vice presidential pick, it's probably going to be, it's just, I'm throwing it out there. It very well could be Marco Rubio. It very well could be Marco Rubio. I don't know how many people are going to like that or care for that, but what does it matter anyway at this point? Everything's so rigged to me. World's a stage. It's all about figuring out, weaving your way through the illusion, waking up, developing the eyes to see. Once you've lived this life long enough and gone through this stuff so much, you get to see it's repetitive. And all this, and they do the same things. Well, here's one for you. Here's a bit of a victory, but not. Can you believe that the court just nailed Hillary Clinton for an FEC violation that was 45 times bigger than Trump's 130,000 so-called violation? Yeah. And that he has to go through a criminal trial over it, and all she has to do is pay a fine, or did have to do is pay a fine, and it's over. You talk about a rigged system right there, just by the way it sits, right there, as you have it. Nailed her. She pays the fine, walks, no criminal court, no jail, no nothing, just throw money at it, which they should have plenty of at this point, and walk free. But no, with Trump, criminal trials, all this other stuff, See, whatever happened to Hillary for prison, that's the closest that I've seen yet that she's been charged with anything, right there. She just paid the fine and walked. And it happened on Biden's watch, not Trump's. Are you kidding me? Well, we all know that they're bringing in migrants across the border left and right, and it's bad news. We know that there's millions, and it's bad news. We also know that they're giving them IDs, jobs, letting them become cops. I mean, I couldn't be in some of these places for nothing. Well, Idaho steps up and issues an executive order blocking non-citizens from voting. That's huge, and I applaud it. Problem that I see with this is, though, is what happened. Well, I guess, it's a lockdown in their state. Say, what if somebody comes in from another state that, like Illinois, that allowed them to fake their way in, and they want to vote in your state, but I don't think they're going to allow that. You're going to have to live there, proven all this stuff. So it's all about what the states are doing right now. This place is getting torn apart, and it's where do you land in this? Do you land on the commie side or on the free side? That's how I see it. This is more than a red, blue, anything like that. This is like a true free state or commie state, like Illinois, New York, California. They're truly going the ways of communism and the commie crap. All the crap that they do. We've talked about all the downsides. It's all political because some of them are absolutely beautiful places to live and have been historically. We just know that they've wrecked places like California. You know, people just know it. That used to be the place to go back in the 80s, 90s, all that. But now they've politically wrecked it. I mean, it just look at what's happening, the madness all over. It speaks for itself. And you got leaders like Newsom in charge of that. Did Kamala come as a prosecutor from the same neck of the woods, didn't she? Like, come on. But RFK gaining ballot access in more states. Not sure how this is going to go in the end with this dude or how it's going to shape up. I guess we're just going to have to wait till election night, huh? We'll see how much of an effect he had on the whole thing or how much of a dud he was. Is. But he's definitely trying to fill that gap for that independent Green Party ticket anywhere he can. Now, let's get to a migrant check-in real quick as we wind things down before we close down the stream. This is really important to me because I think it's one of the biggest things we face right now is this invasion. And that they haven't even went into motion, that they will soon. It's like, everybody, get ready. But I've been saying this forever. You're either ready or you're not. Been trying or you haven't. Look at Germany, for instance, here. Half of the welfare payments in the country go to foreign migrants. These are perfect examples of what can happen here. It is beginning to happen. When you allow these migrants to come in and you do not stop them. I shared a clip on my Twitter of the youth in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, fighting back and rising. You just have to go check it out. And people better hope and pray that you've got youth out there in them, around you, that got fight in them. And that you're putting the right information and knowledge in them for this fight. Because if no one right now has the kahunas to make a stand or anything, you're leaving it to the next generation to do it. Which is cowardly, if you ask me. And, well, they're the ones that are going to have to defeat the beast if no one's going to do it now. Problem is right now in an election climate, so many patriots, so to speak. You can't find any militias gathered anywhere doing much of anything. Not like you used to, that's for damn sure. Most of them go to the Trump rallies. That's it. That's the thing. And when you do it, they're a part of that whole cult, gang-like mentality, a part of something bigger. They're part of the right way. And them putting their time and energy and money into going to these things stops them from doing anything else. When they spend their weekend going to the Trump rally, then it's back to work on Monday. Well, they coulda, shoulda, woulda been spending it at the border with guys like Uncommon and others down there covering our border, sealing our border up, stopping it, stopping the invasion. But no. The invasion continues. And look here. They are flooding the Darien Gap right now as I speak, which is a critical access route into the United States for all these migrants. And they're doing this because they're fearing that the new president of Panama is going to block this key route. So they're all trying to flood in right now, and he very well may. He may close the door for the most part, and that may signal something that most of them are in. They got all that they wanted in to cause the chaos. I mean, we're coming up on the election point anyway. It's the most time, like, why do you keep flooding more in past election time if it's not having to do with election? That means it has to do with something else, which is even scarier, which is full-blown invasion. And look what's picking up. Talk about the crime ticking up. Moped-mounted crime soars. That's what the migrants are bringing. They're bringing the third world criminal tactics with them into the United States, where dudes are rolling around in cities on these mopeds. You've seen the video clips, man. Mostly in other countries, but now it's here. Stories right out of Brooklyn, right here, where they're saying 11 p.m. on Thursday, dude in a ski mask rolled in, jumped off the back of a moped, pointed a gun, robbed these people, took their watch, lady's purse, hopped back on a thing, took off. They said there was two of them. Usually how they roll, that time they can pretty much guarantee they were Venezuelans that did it. And this is how they get away with doing it in other places. They're just doing it here. Sometimes they don't even get off of the moped. They just roll up, pull the gun out, point it at them, say, give me your purse, give me your stuff. They get it and they're gone. Sometimes one dude jumps off. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's a squad of these things, of multiple dudes rolling up, a gang, on these mopeds. And on the mopeds, they can usually get away rather quickly. They can hit these alleys. They can ditch it and take off, wherever. But this isn't good, man. You better hope that you don't start to see stuff like this in your cities. Yeah. And I should have coupled this one with the other one earlier about Colorado and them saying or announcing that the bird flu emergency is hit. Well, who had the bubonic